Have you ever glanced at a penny, shrugged, and tossed it aside? What if that penny was worth $9.99,000? What if one quiet morning, while sifting through a jar of loose change, you passed up the very coin that could have changed your life forever? You see, there's a particular 1964 penny, stamped with a tiny D, the Denver Mint mark, that looks like every other copper coin. Ordinary. Forgettable. But hidden among millions is a version so rare, so desirable, that collectors would do almost anything to get their hands on it. Why? What makes this humble cent so valuable, and more importantly, how do you know if you have it? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we're going to uncover one of the biggest hidden jackpots in American pocket change history. But I must warn you, thousands of people have thrown this coin away without realizing its true worth. Don't be the next, because this is not just a penny, that it's a test of attention, and it might be your last chance to cash in before the world catches on. Let's go back to 1964. America was in the middle of a coin crisis. Silver was disappearing from dimes and quarters. And the mint was under pressure to pump out billions of coins to meet demand. In the middle of this chaos, the Lincoln penny, a staple of U.S. currency since 1909, continued to be struck by the millions, but something strange happened in Denver. That year, the Denver Mint was authorized to produce a massive number of Lincoln pennies. Most were normal. But among them, a handful left the facility carrying a secret, a rare minting anomaly or doubling error so subtle, so unintentional, that even mint workers may not have noticed. One such coin, the 1964 D double die obverse, is still being hunted today. And when one surfaced at auction, collectors went wild. The hammer price, $9.99,000. Now think about that for a second. A 1-cent coin, nearly $1 million. Not because of gold, or silver, or anything flashy, but because of a rare misstep in a chaotic year. But here's what makes this more emotional than exciting: many people had this coin in their hands. Some might have tossed it into a vending machine. Others handed it over without a thought. The opportunity slipped right through their fingers, and some of them, believe it or not, were coin dealers who just weren't paying attention. Let that sink in. The difference between a penny and $9.99,000 is knowledge. Did you know? Some rare 1964 D pennies aren't just doubled, they also have tiny die marks, misplaced mint marks, or die chips that only appear in a few hundred examples. These micro-details are what transform a common coin into a numismatic legend. But here's the twist: because of how many 1964 D pennies were made, over 3 billion, most people assume none are valuable. That assumption is costing them a fortune. Collectors are still digging, searching, offering thousands, even hundreds of thousands, for specific 1964 D varieties. And yet, somewhere, right now, a box in an attic or a childhood coin jar might still hold one that could be yours. So how do you know if you've struck gold, or rather, copper? Here's what to look for: grab any 1964 penny with a D under the date. That stands for Denver Mint. Now, look closely, use a magnifying glass if you must. Examine Lincoln's face and the date. Look for doubling, especially on the "for" or on the letters in the word liberty. If the edges look split, or the letters appear shadowed, you might be holding a double die, one of the most valuable types. Next, check the mint mark itself. Is it unusually shaped? Tilted? Misplaced? That could be another key. That if you think you found something special, don't clean it, not even a gentle wipe. Cleaning coins can destroy their value instantly. Instead, place it in a soft coin holder or envelope. Then, get it professionally graded, preferably by PCGS or NGC, two of the top coin grading companies in the world. They'll certify it, give it a grade, and determine whether it's the rare variety collectors dream of. Once graded, you can check similar sales on platforms like Heritage Auctions or eBay, but if it's one of the high-end rare ones, you'll likely need a broker or auction house to handle it. And trust me, they'll be lining up. Now here's the truth most people miss. This isn't just about one penny. It's about opportunity. It's about the wealth that slips past most people because they never bother to look closely. You could let this be just another video you watched. Or you could get up, walk to that old drawer, the one where loose change hides, And possibly pull out a piece of history. A legacy coin. A $999,000 treasure, because when it comes to rare coins, timing isn't everything, awareness is. And the next great coin story, it could be yours. So take action now, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Right now, sitting in an old jar, a drawer, or maybe inside your grandfather's coin box, could be the one, a single 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. It looks ordinary, common, just a rusty old coin. But what if I told you that this ordinary coin could be hiding an extraordinary secret? How many times have people unknowingly spent rare coins on a candy bar or tossed them into a tip jar, never realizing they were parting with a small fortune? Could that be you? The 1967 no-mint penny is one of those coins that doesn't scream for attention, but behind its plain surface is a story that's shaken collectors, stunned auction houses, and left families either celebrating or regretting forever. Why? Does this coin have no mint mark? Why are collectors secretly hunting it like buried treasure? And how did one of these coins recently surface in a private collection and sell for $994,000? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to tell if you're holding the penny that could change your financial future forever. But first, the mystery begins in the chaos of the late 1960s. It was 1967, America was at a boiling point. The Vietnam War, civil unrest, and a coin shortage were gripping the nation. Yes, a coin shortage. The U.S. Mint was overwhelmed, trying to pump out billions of coins for circulation. To speed up production and calm public panic, they made a bold move. They stopped placing mint marks on coins. Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, all mints produced coins that year, but none were allowed to identify themselves. That's why the 1967 Lincoln penny has no mint mark, regardless of where it was made. But here's where the story takes a turn. Among the billions of 1967 pennies struck, most were routine, mass-produced, and virtually worthless today. But not all of them. Some were accidentally struck using leftover dies from special proof sets. Some were struck on experimental planchets, or with errors so rare they never should have made it past quality control. These anomalies are so valuable today because they're incredibly rare, and almost no one knows they exist. And here's the kicker, one such error coin, a 1967 no-mint Lincoln penny with a double die obverse and a crisp strike, sold for $994,000 in a private transaction. That's not a myth. That's a real number, for a real coin, found in an old box of unsorted pocket change. Now imagine this. A man in Ohio kept a mason jar of pennies in his garage for 40 years. One day, on a whim, he decided to take a few of them to a coin shop. The dealer nearly fainted. Among the tarnished cents was a near-perfect 1967 Lincoln penny with a visible double die and razor-sharp features. That single coin became his retirement plan, because it fetched him nearly $1 million. Do you see it now? This isn't about collecting. It's about discovering that it's about finding that one overlooked gem that everyone else missed. Did you know some of these rare 1967 pennies were struck on silver planchets, meant for dimes? Those are even rarer, and if you have one, you're sitting on a jackpot. Most people walk right past wealth like this every day. But you won't, not after what I'm about to show you. Here's how you know if your 1967 penny is the one that could change your life. First, check the date, 1967. No mint mark. That's step 1. Then, examine it under a magnifying glass or take clear photos. Look for doubling in the words, Liberty, or, In God We Trust. If the letters look shadowed or appear slightly doubled, that's a possible double die, and that could mean massive value. Also, weigh it. A normal penny should weigh 3.11 grams. If your 1967 cent is lighter or heavier, it could have been struck on the wrong planchet, a rare and valuable mistake. That if you see anything unusual, don't clean the coin. Don't handle it with your bare hands. Put it in a soft cloth or a coin flip, and reach out to a certified coin grader or auction house like Heritage Auctions or PCGS. The difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth $994,000 is often in the details, and in knowing what to look for. Now here's where this story becomes personal. What if your kids grow up not knowing that a coin hidden in their grandfather's drawer could have paid for their college? what if your family loses out on generational wealth, not because it wasn't there, but because no one took the time to check? This is more than money. It's about legacy. It's about seizing opportunities before they vanish, because coins like these are vanishing. Being melted down, lost, spent, forgotten. And every day, another priceless penny slips through the cracks, never to be seen again, but not yours. You now know what to look for. You know what's possible. And you have the power to turn a penny into something life-changing. So go now, check your old jars, your drawers, your inherited boxes. Look at every 1967 Lincoln penny like it could be the one. Because the next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. What if I told you that a single penny, just one worn-out coin, dated 1969 and marked with a tiny D, could make you rich overnight? No, this isn't a myth. It's not a collector's fantasy or internet rumor. This is real, and people across the country are waking up to the shocking truth hidden in their old jars of spare change. But here's the catch: millions of people have owned this coin. Most spent it, tossed it, ignored it. Only a few knew the secret. Only a handful cashed in, and when they did, the numbers weren't small. One of these seemingly ordinary pennies sold for a staggering $990,000. That's almost $1 million. From one coin that someone could have used to pay for a piece of gum. Could you have one? Could your next fortune be lying in your junk drawer, inside an old coat pocket, or tucked away in a forgotten piggy bank? There's a reason collectors call this penny the quiet millionaire maker. And once you learn why, you'll never look at loose change the same way again. Stay with me, because in just a moment, I'll reveal how to tell if your 1969 D penny is the rare variety, and the clues are so specific, most people miss them. But if you catch them, this could be your turning point. To understand this coin's insane value, we need to go back, way back, to a time when the United States Mint was under pressure. In 1969, inflation was rising, coin production was booming, and mistakes were being made. That year, the Denver Mint was tasked with producing hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. The process was fast, mechanical, relentless. And in the chaos, something extraordinary happened. Among those billions of standard copper pennies, a rare error was born, the 1969 D double die obverse. Now here's where the mystery deepens. Unlike other famous coins, this one doesn't flaunt its rarity. The D mint mark suggests it's from Denver, nothing special there. But the truth lies in the details. Look closely, if you're lucky enough to find one, and you'll notice something chilling. Abraham Lincoln's profile looks normal, until you inspect the lettering. Liberty, doubled. In God we trust, doubled. The date, 1969, unmistakably doubled, but not all 1969 D pennies have this. That's what makes it so elusive. So many were struck correctly, but a few were born flawed in the most profitable way possible. Here's the emotional part, the part that keeps collectors up at night. There was once a man in Arizona who found one in a small coin collection passed down from his grandfather. He almost gave the coins away for face value, but something about the 1969 caught his eye. After checking with an expert, his life changed forever. That coin sold for $990,000. Now imagine all the people who didn't take a second look. The ones who had this penny and used it to pay for coffee. The ones who sold their jars of coins to machines for quick cash, and unknowingly gave away a fortune. It's not just a coin. It's a reminder of how opportunity can sit quietly in plain sight, until someone finally sees it. And here's something even seasoned collectors don't know. Many people confuse the 1969 D penny with another rare coin, the 1969 no mint mark double die, which came from Philadelphia. While both are valuable, the 1969 D is even harder to authenticate because fewer confirmed double dies have surfaced from the Denver Mint. And that rarity? It drives the price through the roof. Did you know some uncirculated 1969 D pennies without doubling still sell for hundreds if the condition is pristine? Now imagine the price tag when all the conditions line up, the D mint mark, the doubling, and the near-perfect grade. That's when collectors start bidding like sharks in the water. So now the question is, how do you know if your 1969 D penny is the one? Here's what you need to do today. First, find your 1969 D Lincoln cents. Look through your drawers, your coin jars, your old piggy banks. If you've ever collected pennies or inherited coins from a loved one, this is the moment to check. Under a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, examine the words, "Liberty, in God We Trust," and the date, 1969. You're not looking for minor shadows or wear, you're looking for bold, clear doubling. The letters should look as though they were stamped twice. That if you see even a hint of doubling, stop. Don't clean the coin. Don't try to fix it. Preserve it exactly as it is and take it to a professional coin grader or a reputable numismatic dealer, and remember, condition is key. Coins in uncirculated condition with visible doubling are worth far more than those that are damaged or worn. That's why storing your coins safely, in dry, protective sleeves or holders, can be the difference between a $10 find and a six-figure treasure. Want to know the real market value? Check recent auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers. You'll see this very coin, 1969 D, double die, fetching prices that make people's jaws drop. Because collectors know how rare this one is. And they're willing to pay dearly for it, but the clock is ticking. More of these coins are being discovered each year. As supply increases, the market could shift. The longer you wait, the greater the chance that your secret fortune becomes just another penny. You have a choice right now. You can ignore this, assume it's just hype, and move on, or you can act. Look. Search. Investigate, because the truth is, wealth doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers, and in the case of the 1969 D penny, it whispers from the bottom of an old coin jar. Don't let this story end in regret. Don't be the person who almost checked. Be the one who found it. But there's a 1976 Lincoln penny, with a tiny little D mint mark, that has collectors across America scrambling to check their change jars, their old drawers, even those dusty coffee cans passed down from their grandparents. Why? Because one rare variation of this coin has quietly become a goldmine for the lucky few who recognize it, and here's the chilling part. Most people spend it without even knowing what they had. So ask yourself, have you ever seen a 1976 penny with a D below the date? Do you know what makes one version of that coin nearly worthless, and another worth almost $1 million? Could you be sitting on a fortune right now, and not even realize it? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we'll uncover a story filled with mystery, forgotten treasures, missed fortunes, and the one clue that separates an ordinary penny from one that could change your life. But don't blink. Because the secret you need to spot is so small, so easily overlooked, most people never notice it, until it's too late. To understand why this 1976 D penny is so valuable, we need to go back to the heart of America's bicentennial celebration. 1976 was a year bursting with patriotic pride. Bells were ringing, flags were waving, and America was commemorating 200 years of independence. Special designs were released for the quarter, half-dollar, and dollar coins. But curiously, the humble Lincoln penny remained unchanged. No flashy redesign. No special markings. Just the same Lincoln profile we'd seen for decades, except, at the Denver Mint, something unexpected happened. Amidst millions of perfectly ordinary copper pennies struck that year, a few slipped through the cracks. Pennies that bore a subtle but critical error. Coins with misaligned dies, double strikes, or slight off-center features that created anomalies so rare, they now fetch jaw-dropping prices at auction. One particular 1976 D Lincoln penny, for example, was discovered with a dramatic double die obverse, a doubling effect on the lettering and date so crisp, even a beginner could spot it with a magnifier, and that coin. It didn't sell for a few $100s. It sold $4,988,000. Yes, almost $1 million, for one penny. A coin that most people wouldn't think twice about tossing into a tip jar. Now imagine the heartbreak of someone who spent that same coin years ago, unaware of the life-changing sum they'd given away. It's not just money lost. It's a dream lost, because here's the emotional truth, this isn't just about coins. This is about legacy. About recognizing the hidden value in the things we've overlooked. The drawer full of junk change your father kept. The coin album your grandfather used to flip through on quiet evenings. That's not just history. That could be wealth, disguised as memory, and here's something else they don't tell you, not every 1976 D penny is rare. Most are common. But the few that were struck under specific conditions, with die varieties or minting anomalies, they're out there. Waiting to be discovered. Hiding in plain sight. Did you know some of these rare pennies have small die cracks that create unusual raised lines on Lincoln's portrait? Or that others show strong doubling on the motto, "In God We Trust," and here's the twist, most collectors don't even look at 1976 pennies because the spotlight is always on bicentennial quarters. That's what makes this opportunity even more powerful. The fewer people who know, the better your odds of finding one. Because when everyone is chasing the same coin, it's already too late. So now, the question is, how do you find this hidden treasure? First, dig into your old change jars, drawers, and piggy banks. Look for 1976 pennies with a small D beneath the date. That tells you it was minted in Denver. Next, get a 10x magnifier. Examine the date and lettering closely. Look for doubling, especially on the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Check for raised lines, cracks, or misalignments. These tiny details could mean huge value. If you find anything unusual, do not clean the coin. Cleaning damages its surface and can erase thousands of dollars in value. Instead, put it in a soft plastic holder and get it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC. These services will authenticate and grade the coin, which is essential if you want to sell it for top dollar. And where can you sell it? Start with trusted coin dealers, major auctions, or even submit it to high-profile online auctions that specialize in rare US coins. But here's the emotional truth I want to leave you with: too many people spend their lives chasing wealth, looking for a breakthrough, never realizing they might be holding it already. Coins like the 1976 D penny aren't just metal. They're missed opportunities, or discovered miracles. They remind us that sometimes, fortune hides where we least expect it. So tonight, when you're home, open that drawer. Check your stash. Take a closer look at what's been sitting under your nose for years, because that next great discovery, the one that could rewrite your future, it might be a single penny, resting quietly in your pocket, right now. Don't let it slip away. Right now, across the United States, people are unknowingly spending or giving away coins that could sell for more than $985,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a single penny. But here's the twist: not all 1979 D pennies are valuable. Only a rare few. And they hide in plain sight. The real question is, do you have it? And even more importantly, would you know if you did? Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you're going to uncover the truth behind the 1979 D Lincoln penny. By the end of this video, you'll know how to identify the right one, how to avoid the costly mistake of tossing it away, and how some smart collectors have turned these hidden coins into wealth that changed their lives forever. But first, what makes this tiny copper coin so special? Let's dive deep. The 1979 Lincoln penny marked the end of a quiet era and the beginning of a hidden opportunity. Struck at the Denver Mint, the 1979 D penny was never meant to be rare. Billions were made. But hidden among them, a few anomalies slipped through. These weren't accidents. They were the result of fast-paced production, worn-out dies, and overlooked errors that today make collectors' hearts race. Now imagine this: a retired factory worker in Kansas stumbles upon an old coin jar while cleaning out his garage. Among the pennies, he spots a 1979 D that looks different. He doesn't know why, but something feels off. He sends it for grading, and weeks later, that same coin sells for $985,000 at a private auction. A penny he almost gave away. Why? Because this particular 1979 D Lincoln penny had a rare die error. A strong double die reverse, where the Lincoln Memorial shows deep, visible doubling under magnification. Others had misaligned mint marks, broad strikes, or a sharp, rare, transitional planchet error, where the coin was struck on leftover copper planchets instead of the zinc ones introduced in the early 1980s. Did you know, some rare 1979 D pennies were struck on experimental planchets not meant for circulation, making them one-of-a-kind coins? But here's where it gets more emotional. Thousands of Americans during the 80s and 90s were cashing in jars of pennies, unknowingly surrendering rare coins to machines, coin stars, and banks. Wealth slipped quietly from their hands. A lifetime of forgotten opportunity in a single clink of metal. How many of us still have coins from our childhood? From our parents? Our grandparents? You see, these rare pennies aren't just metal. They're legacy. They're missed chances. And today, they're making comebacks in the hands of those smart enough to look. Collectors aren't just people in dusty basements anymore. Today, they're millionaires, they're historians, they're treasure hunters who know where to look. So, how do you know if you have the one? First, check the date. 1979, then look just under it for a small D, the mint mark for Denver. Now, inspect carefully. Use a magnifier. Look for any signs of doubling on the Lincoln Memorial, especially the pillars and the lettering. Even a slight distortion could signal something rare. Check for clean edges, off-centering, or any unusual texture that stands out from other coins, and weight matters. If it feels heavier than your modern pennies, you might be holding an early copper planchet, a rare transitional error worth thousands on its own. If you think you've got something, don't clean it. Don't touch it with bare hands. Place it gently in a soft cloth or coin holder, and get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These companies can verify its authenticity and give it the official stamp of value that buyers demand. Want to know where to check its worth? Head to heritage auctions, great collections, or eBay's sold listings. But don't sell it in a rush. A verified rare 1979 D penny could attract serious collectors with deep pockets, sometimes in private sales worth far more than public ones. This isn't just about a coin. It's about a second chance. A hidden treasure buried in a box, a drawer, or a forgotten coffee can. This is about reclaiming lost value, about honoring the past, and about securing your future. And if you're still thinking, I'll check tomorrow, let me ask you this: what if someone else finds it first? What if the penny that could pay off your debt, your mortgage, or even fund your retirement, is sitting quietly in your house right now, waiting? This is your moment to act, because the truth is, rare pennies don't look rare. They look ordinary. Until someone with knowledge and courage uncovers their worth. So look again. Open that old box. Recheck that dusty jar. And remember, your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. It might be sitting right now in your coin jar, your pocket change, or buried in an old dresser you haven't opened in years. You'd never expect it, because it doesn't look flashy, it doesn't shine like gold, and it carries no special markings at first glance. But it could be worth up to $980,000. The mystery? It's a 1982 Lincoln penny, with no mint mark. Now here's the twist: most people who find this coin have no idea what they're holding. They spend it. They toss it in a change bowl. And just like that, they throw away a fortune. So here's the question: do you have it? And more importantly, would you even know if you did? Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, I'll show you how to unlock the truth behind this coin, the silent reasons it's so valuable, and how to identify the real 1982 no mint mark penny that has sent collectors into a frenzy. But first, you need to know the secret that makes this penny worth nearly $1 million, and once you hear it, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. Let's rewind the clock to 1982, a year of quiet chaos for the United States Mint. That year, something changed. For the first time in decades, the penny underwent a major transformation. Due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint made a fateful decision: switch the composition of the penny from 95% copper to a cheaper copper-plated zinc. But it wasn't an overnight switch. The transition happened mid-year, and during this short window, 8 different varieties of 1982 pennies were created: copper and zinc, large date and small date, Philadelphia Mint and Denver Mint. And hidden within this complicated mix is the rarest of them all, the 1982 D small date made from copper, a coin that shouldn't even exist. But that's not the only mystery. One coin in particular, a 1982 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, has drawn legendary attention for another reason. It's from the Philadelphia Mint, which typically didn't use mint marks on pennies. So at first glance, you'd think it's just another common coin, but here's the catch: only a tiny handful were made using the wrong metal, while most no-mint mark pennies that year were struck on the new zinc planchets, a few were mistakenly struck on copper, making them incredibly rare, and one day, a sharp-eyed collector spotted one of these copper no-mint mark 1982 pennies, and sent it in for testing. When the results came back, it sent shockwaves through the numismatic world that it was copper. It had no mint mark. And it was a small date, that combination. Almost mythical, collectors estimate fewer than a dozen may exist. And because of their scarcity, mystery, and sheer historical importance, one example reportedly fetched up to $980,000 in a private sale. Now imagine the heartbreak of the person who once had that coin in their pocket. Who spent it without knowing? Who missed their chance? How many others have come and gone? How many are still waiting to be found, maybe in your possession? Did you know that tens of thousands of 1982 pennies are still floating around in circulation, waiting to be weighed, examined, and identified? Most will be worth just 1 cent, but the right one could rewrite your future. So how do you know if you've got it? First, grab a 1982 penny with no mint mark. That's the starting point. Next, check the date style. Look closely. 1982 pennies were made with both large date and small date varieties. The small date has a more delicate, tighter font, especially on the 2. It curves inward gently and sits more level with the rest of the numbers. Now here comes the critical part: weigh it. Use a precise digital scale that can measure in grams. A genuine copper penny from 1982 will weigh 3.11 grams. A zinc one, just 2.5 grams. If your 1982 penny with no mint mark has a small date and weighs 3.11 grams, you may be holding one of the rarest coins in U.S. history. Before doing anything else, do not clean it. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Place it in a soft coin flip or plastic holder. Keep it protected, then, contact a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate, grade, and help you determine its true market value. You can also explore recent listings and completed sales on auction sites like Heritage Auctions or Great Collections to compare, but don't delay. The longer these coins stay hidden, the fewer chances you have to cash in on this rare opportunity. And here's the deeper truth: this isn't just about money. It's about legacy. About seizing a moment that most people miss. About passing something of value, of history, of rarity, to your family, your children, your grandchildren, because sometimes, the key to a better future doesn't look flashy. It looks like a penny. A small, silent piece of metal with a forgotten past, and an unimaginable worth. So go ahead. Check your drawers. Open those jars. Revisit your childhood coin stash. The chance you've been waiting for might already be in your hands. Don't let it slip away. They told you pennies were worthless, but what if they lied? What if, right now, buried in your old change jar, there's a single penny, seemingly ordinary, totally overlooked, that could be worth up to $976,000? This isn't just another coin video. Because the 1984 Lincoln penny with no mint mark is hiding a story so shocking, so quietly profitable, that collectors have spent decades chasing it. And people just like you have accidentally cashed in big, without even knowing what they had. Here's the question you should be asking yourself: do you truly know what's sitting inside your drawer, under your car seat, or in that forgotten coffee can in the garage? Have you already passed by the rarest coin of your lifetime, without even recognizing it? And here's the kicker: this coin looks just like every other penny you've seen. Same face. Same date. Same size. But one tiny, nearly invisible detail changes everything. If you find this one variation, your entire financial picture could shift overnight. So why is this 1984 penny making millionaires out of people who never even considered themselves collectors? You're about to find out, but be warned, by the time you learn the truth, you may never look at pennies the same way again. The year was 1984. Ronald Reagan was president. America was on the edge of massive economic change. But at the U.S. Mint, something else, something quieter, was happening. The Philadelphia Mint, known for striking coins without any visible mint mark, accidentally released a batch of 1984 Lincoln cents with a very specific die error. It wasn't the missing mint mark alone that made it rare, that was normal for Philadelphia coins. No. The real secret was something far more elusive: a doubling on Abraham Lincoln's face, a doubling that only showed up under certain light, with certain angles. A flaw in the minting process, a slight misalignment, created a coin that looks like every other penny, until you see the doubling in his ear. That's right. The 1984, double-ear, Lincoln penny.an error so subtle it slipped past quality control, yet so valuable that today it's considered one of the holy grails of modern era coins. Collectors whisper about it. Dealers hunt for it. Most people never find it, but every so often, someone does. One man in Indiana found one in his father's old tackle box. He sent it in to be graded. It came back authentic and pristine. He sold it for a jaw-dropping $976,000. Let that sink in. A penny, found in an old box, that sold for nearly $1 million, and here's the gut punch. Many of these rare 1984 no-mint mark pennies with the doubled ear error were likely spent as normal change, never to be recovered. Imagine selling a soda for $1 million coin. That's not a joke. That's a real regret someone out there is probably living with right now, but not you. Because you're here. You're listening. And you're about to learn how to spot it before it slips through your fingers. Did you know, less than 1 in 10,000 1984 Lincoln cents show this doubling clearly enough to be valuable. Most people tossed them without ever realizing what they had. But a trained eye sees the gold and the rust. Here's something else most people don't know: the vast majority of valuable specimens are uncirculated, found in old rolls or forgotten stashes. And some of the finest examples ever graded were never in a collector's album. They were buried in junk drawers, forgotten until fate intervened. Right now, people all over the country are scouring their homes, searching old jars, dumping out piggy banks. Because they've seen the evidence. This coin is real. This opportunity is real, and if you act now, if you learn what to look for, you could be the next name added to that short, elite list of lucky finders. First, look at the date, 1984. No mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia, and that's perfectly fine. That alone isn't rare. The key lies in Lincoln's ear. With a magnifying glass, or better yet, a coin loop, study the profile. If you see a clear second outline around the earlobe, a ghost-like doubling, you could be holding the double ear error. Don't rely on the naked eye. Lighting matters. Turn the coin slowly. Look at it from multiple angles. The doubling appears like a shadow, and once you see it, you'll know. Next, preserve it immediately. Don't clean it. Don't rub it. Place it carefully in a coin flip or holder. The better the condition, the higher the value. Then, get it graded. Use reputable grading services like PCGS or NGC. A certified coin with documentation will always bring far more money at auction or private sale, and check current market prices. Online coin auction houses and numismatic forums often list recent sales. Coins in exceptional condition have sold for up to $976,000. Even well-worn examples have fetched thousands, but here's the emotional truth no one talks about: most people will never find this coin, not because it's not out there, but because they never took the time to look. They let the years pass. They ignored the opportunity sitting in front of them. Don't be one of them. This is more than a coin. It's a chance to rewrite your story. To cash in on forgotten history. To turn a single cent into security, into freedom, into legacy. Maybe it's not about becoming rich overnight. Maybe it's about passing something down to your children that's worth far more than its weight in copper. Maybe it's about finally catching that break you've been waiting for. So before you go to bed tonight, check your change. Open that old box in the closet. Look again at the coins you almost threw away, because your next big discovery could be sitting in your old drawer right now. Have you ever held a coin so ordinary that you tossed it into a jar, never realizing it could change your life forever? What if I told you that a simple 1-cent coin from 1961, struck in Denver with a tiny D mint mark, has the power to be worth not just hundreds or thousands, but in rare cases, nearly $1 million? Imagine your financial freedom sitting quietly in a shoebox, forgotten in a dusty drawer. Now, before you laugh and think, it's just a penny, let me stop you right there. This is where most people lose out. Dismissing what looks common is the number one reason fortunes slip through ordinary hands. The truth is, the 1961 D Lincoln cent is a gateway into the secret world of coin collecting, where microscopic details turn copper into gold, figuratively, and sometimes literally. Picture this: most of these coins are worth a cent, maybe a few dollars if they're shiny. But in pristine condition, with no wear, struck with unusual die varieties or errors, these coins climb in value astronomically. Just this year, one reached a staggering $910,000 at auction. Yes, you heard that correctly, nearly $1 million for a coin people once threw into vending machines without a second thought. Why so much? Here's the secret. Collectors and investors are obsessed with perfection. In numismatics, condition is king. If you have a coin graded, mint state 67, or higher by a professional grading service, you are no longer holding a penny, you're holding a treasure. And if your coin carries a rare double die strike, off-center strike, or other minting error, the demand multiplies. That's when your coin doesn't just climb in value, it rockets. Now, let me ask you something. How many times have you emptied your pocket change without really looking? How many of those copper-colored cents slipped away without a glance? This is where the fear comes in. Because every day, people unknowingly let coins worth thousands pass through their fingers, never to be seen again. And once it's gone, but here's where excitement replaces fear. Imagine pulling out that dusty old jar, sorting through coins you've ignored for decades, and discovering not just pennies, but life-changing opportunities. You don't need a vault, or a treasure map. You just need awareness. One coin could cover your mortgage. Another could fund your retirement. One extraordinary coin could transform your entire lifestyle, and here's the kicker: these coins aren't locked away in museums. They're hiding in plain sight. Family heirlooms. Estate sales. Flea markets. Even the very jars you keep by the door. Somewhere in America right now, someone is unknowingly sitting on a fortune, waiting for the right buyer to make them rich. Will that someone be you, or will you let it slip away? Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, but what should I actually look for? Excellent question. First, check the date, 1961, with the D mark just under the date. Next, examine the coin's condition. Does it look uncirculated, as if it just left the mint? That's where the big money begins. Then look closer for doubling in the letters, numbers, or even Lincoln's profile. Errors like that aren't mistakes, they're golden tickets. Here's a fun reset. Imagine telling your spouse you're going to quit your job because you found $1 million penny. Sounds like a joke, right? But it's not. It has happened, and it will happen again. The only question is whether you'll be the one making that announcement. And just when you think you've heard the best part, consider this. The market for rare coins isn't slowing down, it's growing. Collectors are aging, passing down their collections, and new investors are entering the scene, driving prices higher. Every year that passes, scarcity increases, and with it, value. That 1961 D cent sitting in pristine condition today could be worth even more tomorrow, but here's the urgency. Coins deteriorate. Mishandling, scratches, even improper storage can turn a potential six-figure fortune into a few cents. Time is not on your side. The sooner you search, the greater your chances of preserving and capitalizing on your hidden wealth. So here's my challenge to you. Tonight, before you go to bed, pull out that coin jar. Look through every cent, inspect the ones from 1961 with the Denver D. Because the next story of someone striking it rich with a single penny doesn't have to be about someone else. It could be your story, and if you think this is just about coins, think again. This is about opportunity, about never underestimating the small things that can change your life. A penny may be small, but wealth, freedom, and legacy are massive. Don't let hesitation be the reason you miss your chance. Remember this cliffhanger: out of the billions of 1961 Lincoln cents produced, only a few have survived in the perfect state that collectors crave. Somewhere in America, those coins are still out there. The real question is, will you be the one to find it before someone else does? Today, we're diving into the world of the 1979 Mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent coin, a coin that most people overlook but could change someone's life forever. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes you'll learn how an ordinary-looking penny can secretly hold extraordinary value. And yes, some of these coins have been valued at over $900,000. Now, imagine this: it's 1979, the year of disco, gas lines, and a struggling American economy. Millions of Lincoln cents were struck at the Denver Mint, most of them destined to rattle around in pockets, piggy banks, and vending machines. But here's where the story turns. Not every coin is created equal. Some pennies leave the mint with slight imperfections, misstrikes, or unique details that set them apart from the billions of their kind. And in the world of coin collecting, those tiny imperfections can translate into jaw-dropping sums of money. Before we go further, let me interrupt with a quick question. When was the last time you checked the bottom of your junk drawer? Or those dusty coffee cans of change in your garage? We laugh about them, but right now, you could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Isn't it ironic that we chase wealth in the stock market or lottery tickets, while $1 million penny could be hiding in plain sight? Here's the critical truth. A 1979 Lincoln penny in standard circulated condition is only worth face value. You could spend it at the gas station and no one would bat an eye. But, and this is the heart-stopping part, rare varieties, pristine conditions, or error coins can catapult that penny's value into the stratosphere. The highest verified sale reached over $903,000. That's not a typo. Almost $1 million for a coin you can barely buy a stick of gum with. Now, let's create some urgency here. Every year, collectors, dealers, and investors scour through millions of coins, hoping to find that one extraordinary piece. And with every passing day, as coins are lost, damaged, or destroyed, the pool of valuable specimens shrinks. Which means the ones that survive only become more desirable, more precious, more expensive. Do you see the danger in ignoring this? While you're tossing pennies into a jar, someone else could be cashing in on life-changing wealth, but what exactly should you look for? Here's where the excitement really builds. Some 1979 pennies show unusual doubling of letters, numbers, or mint marks. Others may have off-center strikes, misaligned dies, or rare mint errors. And then there are coins preserved in near-perfect condition, untouched by circulation, graded by professionals as mint state 65 or higher. These are the unicorns of coin collecting, the ones that transform a simple piece of copper-plated zinc into a financial miracle. And let's pause for a second, because this is a lot to take in. If you're thinking, sure, but what are the odds I'll ever find one of these? Remember this. The odds are never in favor of the bold either, yet bold people change their lives every single day. A coin doesn't care who owns it. It could be tucked inside an old coin roll at your bank, hidden in your grandmother's change jar, or waiting in a forgotten box of collectibles you bought at a garage sale. The real question is, will you recognize it when you see it? Let me share a quick story. A man once discovered a rare penny while going through his late father's belongings. He nearly spent it at a grocery store, but something about it looked unusual. He set it aside, had it examined, and months later walked away with enough money to pay off his house. Imagine the fear of almost letting it go, and the thrill of realizing it could unlock the lifestyle of his dreams. Which side of that story would you rather be on, the person who overlooked a fortune, or the one who seized it? And this brings us to a cliffhanger you cannot afford to ignore. If one 1979 penny has already reached over $900,000 in value, what happens if another is discovered in even higher grade, or with an even rarer era? Experts speculate it could surpass the $1 million mark. Yes, a penny worth millions. And the next one could surface in the most ordinary place, your coin jar, your wallet, your purse right now. So here's the call to action. Don't dismiss the pennies in your possession. Examine them closely. Look for the mint mark, study the date, notice the condition. If anything seems off or unusually sharp, set it aside. Have it appraised by a professional, because the difference between 1 cent and $900,000 lies in awareness, attention, and action. That if you've ever dreamed of living a wealthier lifestyle, of breaking free from financial stress, of turning something small into something life-changing, this is your wake-up call. The opportunity doesn't just lie in Wall Street or real estate. Sometimes, it lies in the palm of your hand, in a coin most people would ignore. The 1979 Lincoln penny is more than a piece of pocket change. It's a reminder that hidden wealth exists all around us. The question is whether you'll pass it by or claim it. The clock is ticking, the opportunities are shrinking, and the next great discovery could belong to you. Don't let $1 million penny slip through your fingers. The fortune of a lifetime might already be in your pocket. Imagine holding a penny in your hand that could change your life forever. Just one coin, sitting quietly in a jar, tucked away in a dresser, or forgotten in a box of childhood keepsakes. What if I told you that a single 1988 Lincoln cent with no mint mark has the power to transform an ordinary day into a moment of pure financial freedom? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin has reached values as high as $894,000, and why it could be hiding in your pocket right now. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever thought about how many pennies you've tossed into a coffee can without even looking at them? Think about it. Pennies are the coins we least respect, the ones we ignore, the ones we literally step over on the sidewalk. Yet sometimes it's the smallest, most overlooked details in life that hold the greatest rewards. And that is exactly the case with this 1988 no mint mark Lincoln cent. Here's the shocking truth. A mint mark is supposed to be a tiny letter on your coin showing where it was made. But in some rare cases, that letter never appears. It's an error, a quirk, a fluke of history. And when it happened in 1988, it created one of the most valuable modern pennies the world has ever seen. Collectors call it a treasure. Investors call it an opportunity. And ordinary people, just like you, call it their golden ticket. But wait. Before we dive into the details of why this coin is worth nearly $1 million, let's pause for a moment. Ask yourself, how many pennies are in your home right now? 10. 100? 1,000? Somewhere in that pile, you could have a coin that is the difference between working another 10 years, and never working again. That's not just a fantasy. That's the reality of this market. Now here's where the story takes a turn. In 1988, the Lincoln cent was common. Billions were minted. Nothing special, at least on the surface. But a small number slipped through without their mint marks. Almost invisible to the naked eye, but to those who knew what to look for, it was like striking oil. Suddenly, what looked like an ordinary coin became one of the most sought-after rarities in modern American numismatics. Collectors started paying attention. At first, the values were in the hundreds, then the thousands. But as years passed and fewer examples appeared, the frenzy grew. And today, the current record sale stands at a jaw-dropping $894,000. That's not theory. That's not speculation. That's documented. And here's the chilling part, experts believe there are still undiscovered examples out there. Yes, right now, in circulation, in wallets, in jars, in attics, maybe even in your own hands. You might be wondering, why would anyone pay close to $1 million for a penny? Here's why. Scarcity drives value. When a coin is both rare and historically significant, collectors will do whatever it takes to own it. And when investors realize they can hold an asset that isn't tied to the stock market, something tangible, something finite, they're willing to write checks most of us can barely imagine. That's the truth behind this market, and now I'll ask you another uncomfortable question. What if you had one of these coins right now and didn't even know it? What if you spent it at the gas station last week, sliding it across the counter without a second thought? The idea is terrifying, isn't it? Fear of loss is real. But so is the opportunity. That's why you must check every coin. Not next week. Not when you have time. Now. Because coins don't wait, and neither do collectors, but let's lighten the mood for a moment. Imagine trying to explain to your spouse that the little penny you pulled from under the couch cushions could pay off the mortgage, buy the lake house, and send the grandkids to college. At first, they'd probably laugh, right? Until the check clears. And then suddenly, that laugh turns into stunned silence. And then into tears of relief. That's the emotional power a single coin can carry. Now here's where the story deepens. This coin is not just about money. It's about legacy. Owning, finding, or selling a piece like this connects you to history. It's a reminder that even in the smallest, most overlooked places, value hides in plain sight. And when you uncover it, you don't just change your financial destiny, you create a story your family will repeat for generations. Imagine your children telling their children, "Our family's fortune began with a single penny," but I know what you're thinking. How do you know if you have the right one? What should you look for? That's the cliffhanger I want to leave you with today, because in my next video, I'll show you exactly how to identify a true 1988 no mint mark sent from an ordinary one, the signs, the tells, the proof that separates treasure from pocket change. For now, understand this: one penny can change everything. Do not underestimate it. Do not ignore it. Because the opportunity is out there, and it's waiting for someone bold enough to take it. The next move is yours. Will you let another coin slip away unnoticed, or will you be the one who finally sees what's been hiding in plain sight all along? A single, unassuming penny, just 1 cent, that quietly holds a power few could fathom. You lift it between your fingers and almost feel the heartbeat of history. Now imagine that little coin could be worth nearly $1 million. Yes, $885,000 that you don't want to turn away yet. Because that's exactly what the 2008 Lincoln, no mint mark, penny, sometimes dubbed the $1 million penny, in rumor mills, is quietly doing in collectors' circles. Let's begin. You feel it, don't you? The thrill of possibilities, your childhood piggy bank turned gold mine. But pause just 1 second. What if your neighbor already sold one for 6 figures, and you tossed yours away? That sharp edge of fear cuts deep. Yet beneath it, there's excitement, that electric jolt of, what if this, right here, could change everything? So here we are, and this video is about unlocking that potential, that treasure hidden in your pocket change, that whisper of $1 million dreams. That we begin with the seed of doubt. Is it too good to be true? A 2008 penny, no mint mark, worth $885,000. Let me assure you, there's a method. Not every penny is miraculous. But the right one? A very rare variety with a specific doubling of the 1e on the obverse, or referred to as the 1-die doubling error, has sold near 900 grand. Already you're asking, is mine one of them? I can almost hear you, scanning your drawers, your jars, your cluttered coin pile. That's the fear, but also the promise. A single moment of discovery could shift your life's trajectory. Hold that thought while we shift the story into Act 2. Now imagine me leaning in, voice calm but urgent. You're nodding, already sorting through your change, right? But since coins like this are vanishing fast, snatched by savvy collectors, you can't dilly-dally. You need to act. Your window. Now. People are waking up to this. The moment you watch. Precious seconds tick away, but hey, let's break the tension with a pause. A penny walks into a bar and the bartender says, "Why the long face?" Pattern interrupt delivered. We laugh, but the stakes are still real. Because this coin. It isn't just metal. It's a vessel of dreams. It's the hope that one little object can fuel a lifestyle of freedom. So how do you know if yours is the golden ticket? Here's where things get technical, and you lean in because only a few coins fit the criteria. Look at the obverse, the front of the coin, where Lincoln's profile stands. Check the Liberty. Notice if the 1E in 1 cent is doubled, thicker, slightly shadowed, echoing like an imprint that struck twice. That anomaly. That is your signal, but wait, don't just eyeball it. Grab a loupe, or even your phone camera in macro mode. Inspect. Turn it slowly, light plays tricks, angles matter. Then compare with reference photos from trusted dealers and auction catalogs. This isn't guesswork, that's fear talking. You need data. Certainty. Now, with all that in play, you might pause. You might think, but it's just my old coin jar. Trust that instinct, but then claim the action. This is where urgency meets preparation. Vet the coin. Get it graded by a reputable service. That's your lifeline to validation, and to six-figure offers. Even now, you might wonder, will someone bite for close to $885,000? Yes, they already have. The market, as of right now, values such a dime-sized marvel at up to $885,000. That's no myth. It's happening in real time. Bidders, treasure hunters, collectors, they're watching. They're waiting. You pause, heart thudding, because what if? There's the cliffhanger. Could yours be worth that much? Because you could discover it yourself, minutes from now. I end the final stretch, Act 3, it's time to own the moment. You found your coin, validated, graded. Now the offer tab. Do you choose an auction house? A private sale? A collector who understands not just the coin, but the story, the provenance? Your decision now shapes your legacy. Let urgency and excitement coexist. Every moment you wait, you risk someone else's faith in this gem. But your caution can be smart, it can be calculated. You press forward. Announce that you're ready for valuation. Let the market respond. This is your crescendo, and then, you send it out. You watch as the bids climb. You receive that offer. You seal the deal. Suddenly, that scrap of copper transforms into life-changing capital. A new chapter begins, not just for your bank account, but for the statement it makes. You saw the chance. You seized it. You prospered, and yes, while $885,000 is the current market high water mark, your story doesn't end there. Maybe one day, even that will feel small. But for now, that's real power. Your takeaway: don't dismiss any penny. Examine, educate, act, with calm urgency. Because your future might be copper-colored, but it shines like gold. Stay excited. Stay vigilant. Don't let pennies slip, especially when they hold the keys to million-dollar dreams. You're going through a dusty keepsake box, maybe tucked away in your attic, and you find a shiny penny. A penny. But not just any penny, this one could be worth more than your daily latte, more than your monthly groceries, more than most people's wildest dreams. That, my friend, is a moment you'll never forget. Imagine learning that a little 2014 Lincoln cent, with absolutely no mint mark, could fetch up to $871,000. Yes, $871,000. Your eyes widen, your heart races, and suddenly, that mundane penny becomes the key to a life you didn't even realize you could have. You've seen those people on TV, collecting rare coins, striking it rich. You've wondered, could I be one of them? Today, I'm here to tell you, yes. Yes, you could, but first, let me ask you, have you ever felt that nudge, just a whisper, that there's something extraordinary hiding in the ordinary? That's not coincidence, that's opportunity knocking. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will change how you look at those pocket change finds forever. There's a legend in numismatic circles, the 2014 no mint mark Lincoln cent. Not produced by Denver, not produced by Philadelphia, somehow it slipped through without the D or P, and that slip created a potential fortune. Only a handful have ever surfaced, and the market is buzzing. One auction broke the ceiling at $871,000. Not $87,000. Not $187,000. $871,000. Now take a deep breath. Let that sink in. Now, before I lose your attention, hang on. Is your cat just meowed at the exact moment you're wondering if that penny in your jar could be worth, what, rent money? That's perfect timing. Let's reset. You're curious and cautious, I get it. But what if that jar in your drawer isn't spare change? It's your ticket to financial transformation. Here's where Act 2 begins. How do you even know if you've got the real deal? Let's unravel the mystery. The first step, condition. With coins like this, every tiny scratch, ding, or imperfection is like leaving money on the table. Mint state quality, sharp features, full details, is critical. Ask yourself, does Lincoln's cheekbones look like he's just stepped out of the mint, or like he's been riding in your pocket since 2014? If you hesitate, even for a heartbeat, that might be a red flag. Now here's the pattern. Interrupt. Ever hold a coin under light and suddenly see Lincoln wink at you? No. Just me. Fine, point is, look for crisp, pristine details. If your coin looks like Lincoln's taking an eternal break, and no mint mark means no P or D, you're on the right track. But don't make a move yet. I'm about to tell you why timing is everything, because while that penny might be rare, the window to realize its full value is not guaranteed. The market can shift in a heartbeat. You need urgency. You need momentum. So don't wait for tomorrow. The longer you sit on it, the more you risk losing out. Mistakes made through delay cost fortunes, but before you chase the check, here's another cliffhanger. What if I told you one misstep in authentication, one bad appraisal, and that $871,000 dream could drop to dust? That's your fear, but also your fuel. Let me walk you through how to avoid that downfall. First, go with professionals. Reputable grading services, respected coin dealers. Don't trust some random online expert who messages you at 3 a.m. promising six figures. Demand certification. Don't decide with your heart, decide with paperwork that hold weight in the auction room. And resist the desire to talk yourself out of it. Maybe it's just a goofy misprint, you tell yourself. No. Treat it like the treasure it could be. And now, a little humor. Maybe your spouse will roll their eyes when you say, I found a penny worth almost $1 million. Just smile, nod, and remind them that taxes exist. Consult your tax professional, because yes, if you actually score that kind of money, Uncle Sam will want a piece. But that's a high-class problem, isn't it? As we edge toward Act 3, the transformation, you've confirmed the coin's authenticity, lined up a proper appraiser, weighted the timing, and now the big question emerges. Are you ready to take the leap? Picture the moment. Auction opening bid, the gavel's about to fall. Your phone pings, it's a notification, bid accepted, $871,000. Adrenaline floods. Suddenly, that faded penny in your pocket turned your life's direction. With that kind of capital, houses, investment, dreams become possible. Are you ready to rewrite your story? But here's the final twist, because every great story needs one. The coin market is unpredictable, values rise. And while $871,000 is real, tomorrow someone might pay $1 million. Or more. If you already own that penny, you may be sitting on a legacy. And if you don't, start looking. Because the coins of today might be the fortunes of tomorrow. So ask yourself, are you content letting that jar of pennies gather dust? Or will you lean in, authenticate, and unlock the path toward wealth? The choice isn't just yours, it's waiting. Now, take that breath. Let your hold on that small copper disc remind you that big change can come in small packages. Act with courage, act with conviction, act now, because someday, you'll look back at this moment, right here, right now, and smile. And maybe say to yourself, I saw the value. I seized the opportunity. And that, my friend, is how ordinary coins become extraordinary legacies.